Well, back at this off-grid site, which we had a look at just a week ago, a 336 kilowatt hour, 70 kilowatt, three-phase off-grid system. Pretty amazing. So I'm here with the crew from Sigenergy. We're just doing a final commissioning of the inverters and also synchronization of the 55 kVA genset. It's looking awesome. Let's just have a quick check. It's still being constructed. G'day, Will.
Hey, Glenn.
This is your new nightclub.
It is, yes. Lots of nice flashing lights. So we just commissioned the 336 kilowatt hours of storage.
Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. Incredible. Just the visual spectacle of this amount of energy, and it doesn't look like a bit of old school industrial kit. It's very high tech. I thought I'd tell you a bit about this project. Now, this project's a bit unusual because the house is both on-grid and off-grid. Well, components of it are off-grid. The reason for this is a bit interesting. The property actually has grid power. It's got its own transformer on site, pole-mounted, three-phase transformer, but it's not big enough to run all of the loads. So they needed a 55 kVA diesel genset just to run the primary load, which is the swimming pool. The swimming pool draws around 25 kilowatts. Most of that is going to a huge heat pump. Yeah, a big heat pump indeed. I mean, it is something like a 25-meter infinity pool here out in the open, where it loses heat quite a bit. So yeah, it's a big load. So it was too much for even the grid to supply. So they went for a diesel generator. They were spending something like over $2,000 a week in fuel. Well, they're using way over 1,000 litres a week in diesel, so that's a big cost. So what we did was put in a off-grid system made out of SigenStor battery stacks. So a SigenStor inverter on top, in this case a 10 kilowatt three-phase, along with 6 8 kilowatt hour batteries, giving us 48 kilowatt hours per stack, and a total capacity of 336 kilowatt hours with a total power rating of 7 times 10, so 70 kilowatts. Now, how do you do that? Yes, well, you can parallel SigenStor inverters together to make a bigger system. So 7, no problem. In fact, Will from SigenStor was telling me they've just done 65 in parallel in Spain. That's incredible. So by paralleling, they can build big systems from relatively small components. Speaking of small, actually the smallest available in Australia is 5 kilowatt single phase inverter. I think they do a three phase as well in 5 kilowatts, but they go up to 10 kilowatt single phase and up to 25 kilowatts three phase. That's big. So yeah, you can build huge systems out of small components. Anyway, why don't we check it out now that it's being commissioned by the crack team from SigenStor here in Melbourne. And by the way, there's the transformer. And it's not big enough. So I mentioned that this system is designed to displace generator usage. Hopefully, once the solar's added, because we're doing this in 2 phases. We're doing initially as just generator charging the SigenStor systems, but we will be adding PV in the second stage. We've got to run some cables to the house. About 70 kilowatts will go in the house. So this is the generator shed here, and let's just have a look inside. Well, behind me is the gateway. Now, a gateway is one of the kind of secret features of the SigenStor system, is that it can utilize a lot of parallel connected inverters. The gateway is the point where they all parallel through their own breakers, and there is a control system inside here that controls that paralleling with other sources, such as the grid or a generator. One of the really amazing features of the gateway is it can do 0 millisecond UPS functionality. Some sort of proprietary AI, I'm not sure, I probably used the wrong words, don't think it's AI. There's some way it can synchronize with another source. When that source disconnects, there is no loss of continuity to the loads. That's 0 millisecond. So that's an always on UPS. That's one of the advantages of a system like this. Hey, behind me is the main house here at this project. And you can see a lot of solar on there, but this is actually an old system that unfortunately isn't working. So we're going to actually replace all of the panels on this system as part of stage 2 of this build. About 70 kilowatts of PV will go on, connected to the 7 10 kilowatt hybrid inverters here at the project. So pretty exciting. G'day, Glenn Morris here from the Smart Energy Lab, and another big day here at the lab. I've got will.hall from Sigenergy back here. Will, how's it been?
Yeah, really good, mate. Busy.
Busy?
Very busy.
Is it an underestimate?
Yes. So we've been doing a big off-grid commissioning this week, so had a bit of a late night, but I'm glad to be here again. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, let's tell the viewers a bit about Sigenergy. So who is Sigenergy?
Yeah, so we're a fairly new company, so launched at the beginning of 2022. So we basically manufacture energy storage systems, and the guys behind it, we've got lots of experience. So our CEO was actually the guy that built up the world's #1 inverter brand. So yes, we're new, but yeah, lots of experience.
Right. Yeah, so old skin in a new company.
Yes,
yeah, right.
Exactly right.
So what sort of products does Sigenergy make?
So the flagship product is called SigenStor, which is essentially, it's the world's first 5-in-1 energy storage system, which comprises of a hybrid inverter connected to a DC EV fast charger, which has got bidirectional capabilities built into it, which is an industry first. Then we've got the batteries, and we've got the EMS and the PCS built into it as well.
Wow.
So we do it for residential, we do it for commercial, you can do it on grid, fully off grid. We do full home backup. We've got a true UPS system, so it's 0 millisecond switch over time. Yeah, there's a lot going for it. It's a really cool product.
Shall I rephrase the question? What can't you do?
Well, we haven't kind of worked that one out yet, but I'm sure we will eventually.
Some of those things really got me excited. For instance, I didn't really believe this 0 millisecond UPS concept until I tested it here, and it's true. It really is a true UPS. I can put my computer on the backup.
Yeah, so medical equipment, you can have those on site and use this system,
Yeah.
servers, all that kind of stuff. There's no switch off whatsoever. Don't ask me how it works. It's all magic to me, but it's a patented algorithm which obviously does something pretty cool to make sure there's a 0 millisecond switch over.
I mean, unfortunately, the term UPS isn't a certified term, so people just throw it around like, it's got backup, it's got UPS, but you're talking true industrial UPS.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a big plus.
Yep.
The DC EV charger, I mean, for a start, I haven't seen, I think there might be one other product on the market I can think of that actually has a DC charger option, but you can do it in some clever ways. I talked to your engineer. I mean, he was explaining to me that you combine all of your DC sources to power that big 25 kilowatt DC charger from a relatively small inverter.
Yeah, so you can even use that on the single phase, so it pulls it from the panels, pulls it from the grid, pulls it from the batteries, blends everything together. So, if you're doing a standard charge for your car, 1 hour will probably get you about 130 kilometers of range. So probably a little bit overkill for a residential application, but if you're looking at, your C&I fleets that are installing lots of EV chargers, it's a really good solution.
Yeah, okay, wow. So bringing fast DC charging to the home is a bit of a first, so that's absolutely fabulous. So you can do big systems, and we're doing one at the moment, right? So it's an off-grid system?
Yeah, so it's fully off-grid. We've got a diesel generator connected to it. We've done 7 systems in parallel, which has got a 10 kilowatt 3-phase inverter. Each stack has 6 8 kilowatt hour batteries, and then obviously 7 in parallel, so 336 kilowatt hours of storage. Really, really quick and easy to install. So obviously we were there and you did a little time lapse, and it took us, I think it was about 15 minutes to put the inverter and 6 batteries together, and it's really, really good. So limitation wise, I mean, I'm not really sure where it's kind of tops out. I mean, we're just about to commission a system in Spain, which is, I think it's 65 systems in parallel, and there's about 3.5 megawatt hours of storage. So obviously, you know, I mean, it really starts to make sense from a cost saving perspective when you're looking at the really big CNI stuff, because one of the things that makes it so quick and easy to install is obviously the modular aspect. It's kind of like Lego, you're putting stuff together. We don't have any field connections or cabling, so it's got a floating PV terminal on every module that you connect. So obviously big CNI stuff, you're saving a lot of time on installation. You're saving a lot of money on the ancillary costs because you don't need the cables. It's all IP66 as well. So from a, you know, CNI operations and maintenance perspective, you've got a big cost saving there as well, because you're not having to go out every, you know, month or a couple of months to make sure everything's working okay. So yeah, I mean, we designed it as a residential system, but you know, for CNI it's great.
Now, just going back to that first statement you made, we paralleled 7 of them together.
Yes.
What I also found interesting is that for off-grid, I'm used to having inverters with 2 AC ports, like an input port, typically a generator, and a load port, typically the loads in the home.
Yep.
But with the SigenStor, it's got 1 AC port, effectively a T connection to both the generator and the load through this magic box called the gateway.
Yes. So the gateway is basically what provides, you can do the full home backup, not just the critical loads. So we have several different types. So the one that we've just installed on this off-grid system allowed us to do 7 systems in parallel, and it provides all the backup and gets everything connected together. It has a generator input, so we've got a 55 kVA genset generator connected to it, which is automatically kicking in and making sure everything's working. Auto start function,
right. Yep. But this effectively is one of the secret weapons, as I like to call it, of the SigenStor system, is that you can use this gateway product to integrate lots and lots of SigenStors.
Yes.
And I mean, 7 seems like amazing, but you just said 64 has been done in Spain at the moment.
65 in parallel,
65.
Yes.
Whoa.
So we do have a bigger gateway that will connect up to 10 systems as well. So obviously, you know, for every 10, you then use another one and kind of bring it all together.
Now, we've gone to the high end. What about the low end? How small can you go?
So inverter-wise, we do, the smallest one is in Australia is a single phase 5 kilowatts. We do at the minute we do 2 different types of battery modules. We do a 5 kilowatt hour and an 8 kilowatt hour battery module. So the smallest is 5 kilowatt hours. You can build those batteries up and do 6 per stack. So, you know, if you're doing the 8s, you'll get up to 48 kilowatt hours of storage. And then we do have another battery module coming out in a few months, which is going to be a 10 kilowatt hour module. Exactly the same footprint. So you just need 1 battery, 10 kilowatt hours, and yeah, it's obviously going to be a really quick install for high capacity storage.
Right. So for those who are just putting their toe in water, you know, for a battery backup system, because, you know, if you happen to live in Victoria, you probably know there's been some massive blackouts recently and other states have had the same. You want a small system. So can you do a 5 kilowatt inverter with a 5 kilowatt hour battery?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just a little starter kit. But then, of course, you go, oh, gee, I wish I'd bought more. Can you add more later on?
Yeah. So because each battery module has a built-in optimizer, so like a DC to DC converter, that means you can add, you know, another battery at a later stage. You can also mix and match different battery capacities. So there's no voltage issues, no state.
So you can have a 5 kilowatt hour and an 8 kilowatt hour in the same
system.
stack.
Yeah.
Now
So you could start off with a 5, you could add an 8, or whatever you wanted to do. Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah. It's very flexible.
So being able to mix different capacity batteries is pretty unusual. I'm familiar with, you know, when you parallel batteries, everything has to be the same, not just the amp hour capacity of each battery module, but also the age. Can you mix different age batteries together?
Yeah, so that's one of the benefits of having built-in optimizers on each battery module. So, you know, for instance, if you want to add a new battery to a 2-year-old system, no problem. If one of the batteries fails, then you can just bring in a new battery and replace it. No issues whatsoever.
Now, because you've got, let's say, you know, 10 kilowatt hours of storage, and you happen to go for that 25 kilowatt DC EV charger, could you, in a blackout, use your car to charge or to run your house?
Yes. So this is another one of the really unique things that we've built into our system is the V2X functionality. So we've actually got...
What's the X for?
So basically it means we can do vehicle to grid or vehicle to home.
Oh, I see. It's like X the anything.
Exactly right. So, I mean, this is a new thing that people are going to start hearing more of over the next few months. But the ability to have an integrated DC EV charger, which basically looks just like one of the battery modules, goes into the all-in-one system.
So it's just another item in the stack.
Exactly. And you can retrofit it at a later date. So if you're thinking about getting an EV charger in the future, just come in and add one of these. And then the V2X or the vehicle to grid will allow you to use your energy stored in the car battery to go into the grid. And if you're part of a virtual power plant program, that you can obviously basically get paid for the energy you push back to the grid. Alternatively, if you're doing the vehicle to home, you know, you might have got a 70 kilowatt hour battery in your car, which is a huge capacity to then power your home and make you more energy independent, which is a good thing.
I imagine there's a lot of people, certainly at the moment in Melbourne, who've got EVs and no grid power, and they're just looking at their car going, geez, I wish I could run my house off it.
So since we've announced the ability to do that, we've had a lot of electric vehicle owners ringing us up and saying, when can we get this? Because, you know, that's something that particularly in South Australia, because that's the only place you can do it, the only area you can actually do it at this stage. So there's going to be a big interest in that because there's not really any other solutions that are doing it on the market at the minute in that price point.
Yes. Just for the audience benefit, so South Australia Power Networks on application have approved a couple of bidirectional chargers. It's in the pipelines in our Australian standards, so 4777 Part 1 probably be updated this year with all with good luck, and we should see more wide adoption of bidirectional charging because we'll have a safety standard that addresses it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, coming on to, we've got this amazing system that can go from 5 kilowatt hours up to who knows what. It's all modular. It's all the same products. I mean, look, wholesalers must love you just having to stock one battery module that can do everything.
It's a really simple product to stock.
What range of inverters sizes can you do?
So we have got 5, 6, 8 and 10 kilowatt single phase. 3 phase we have 5, 10, 15 and 25. So we go quite high, and that's on the all-in-one system. So you can also use, you can also get those inverter sizes as a hybrid battery-ready inverter as well. So if the customer doesn't want batteries straight away,
just get the inverter.
Yep. So we have it's essentially the same inverter just with a different nameplate.
Yep.
And it's battery ready, which means if they're not ready for batteries, they can purchase that lower purchase price because hybrids tend to be more expensive.
Yep.
Go into the app, unlock it, pay an upgrade fee, and then they can connect batteries to it as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can be battery ready, single phase 5, 6, 8, 10.
Yep.
And then 3 phase 10,
5, 10, 15, 25.
Up to 25.
Yep.
Now, let's say I'm a single phase customer, which is the majority of customers in Australia, and 10's not quite big enough for me. Well, let's say I wanted a 15 single phase supply. Can I do it some other way?
Yeah, so you can actually do 200% oversizing on the DC to AC ratio, which means if you're connecting batteries, our rating is basically you can connect up to double the PV capacity onto the inverter rating. So if
right,
you're
so
doing
overclock, as they say, the system.
If it's a 10 kilowatt inverter, you can connect up to, let's say, 20 kilowatts of PV.
Yep. And you can have a certain amount of overpower ratio. What did you say that was? Like the AC output can go up a bit?
10%.
10%, okay.
Yep.
What about I want 15 kilowatts of real power, not just, for 10% more? Can I just get two?
Two inverters?
Can I get like 2 8s and that gives me, 16 kilowatts of AC power?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So
So really, you can cover everything.
Yes.
Like the customer says, I want 23 kilowatts of power. And we go, we can get almost 23. But, you can work it out. Single phase or 3 phase.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it truly is modular.
Yep, super flexible. I mean, it's like Lego.
I know.
It's like an adult Lego set, which is fun to play with.
Feels like Lego.
And it's saving you a lot of money.
It's a bit heavier than my Lego, but yeah.
Yeah, my back's still a bit sore.
But speaking of that, I was really impressed by the way they integrate all the handles which come in the box. You don't have to buy them. Like some manufacturers, you had to buy handles to lift their batteries. They come in the box.
Yeah, they're really thought out the user experience, which is really important. So, the minute you get it out of the box, you've got the handles to lift all the modules out. The base that you attach the system to has a spirit level built into it, so you can make sure it's flat. It comes with a cardboard kind of template, so you can see exactly where you need to drill all your holes, and Yeah, they make it a really simple, and that's one of the reasons why it's really quick and easy to install, because they've thought of everything.
My Sparky was so impressed by all that detail, the things that cardboard template. It's easy to say, oh, it has a template. Sometimes it's just a piece of tissue paper. This thing actually, you sort of fold it a bit like origami to get the right spacing from the wall.
Yep.
And then the drill holes. That was really nice. The fact that the brackets can be accessed with a ugga-dugga without having to have a strange right angle tip to attach the brackets to the wall. That was a good one.
Yep.
Little things. We haven't talked about the PV side though. So it's hybrid. How many inputs do they have?
So it varies. So on the 5 and the 6, we have 2 MPPTs. On the 8 and the 10, we have 3 for single phase. And on the 3-phase, we go from 2 on the smaller ones up to 4 on the 15 and 25.
Wow,
Yeah.
4 MPPTs on the bigger unit. So that's gives you the flexibility of long strings.
Yep.
And I think this year, don't get too excited, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. We'll be going to 1,000 volts on domestic. Woohoo! So
Looking forward to that.
Nice long strings will make the job of installers a lot easier. Now, so we've got the system installed and we're going to commission it. How do we do that?
Really, really simple process. So obviously the systems have been built, all connected. It's essentially going into the app. It does a full system health check and auto networks everything. Does a quick upgrade of the firmware.
What do you mean a health check? What's involved in a health check?
So what it does, it just basically checks all of the connections, make sure everything's as it should be. If not, it can tell you, you need to basically connect this because it's not been done properly.
Right.
The firmware upgrade takes just a couple of minutes. I mean, I know that's been a big problem for a lot of other products in the market. It can take a long time. And then,
how does that happen? Is it through Wi-Fi or wired or?
Yeah, through Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, you can do it through wired as well. So each inverter comes with 2 LAN ports to hardwire it. Also, we have a Wi-Fi dongle built into it to connect to Wi-Fi. If the customer is in an area where the Wi-Fi is really bad or it's not possible to hardwire it, we do have a 4G dongle that you can connect, and it has a SIM card, and we provide a 2-year contract built into that SIM card as well.
That should get you commissioned. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so for the off-grid stuff that's in the middle of nowhere, then that's obviously quite a useful thing to have.
So with Wi-Fi, you can use it in access point mode, so you don't actually have to connect to the cloud for some of it functionality. So your phone, you connect directly to it?
To the phone, yeah.
Yeah, right. What about the customer's experience? Like, how do they monitor their system?
Yeah, so that's probably a good thing to talk about as well. So the app that we have developed in-house is the first one to be integrated with AI, ChatGPT-4. So that serves a really positive user experience for the end user. So, if they want to pull some data together to see a graph of a particular day, then the app will basically do that instantaneously. We have AI mode, so it will basically configure the system to charge and discharge at the best times for the customer, so they don't have to really worry about anything and go into these little settings and try and set it up.
It's actually looking at how you use energy.
Yeah. So it looks at your energy usage behaviour. We can put the tariff information in there, and it'll automatically just set everything up to charge and discharge at the times that are going to give the customer the best results.
That's almost like another service.
Yeah.
Being able to optimize let's call it optimizing your bill, basically, that it finds the best way to lower your bill without you having to know anything.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, I think you've just highlighted something else, which I know about this company is IT is, they're basically an IT company as well.
Yeah, look, so Tony is our CEO. So as I said, he comes from a very reputable company, and he built up their inverter brand to be the biggest in the world. But he also started their artificial intelligence division and built that up to be the biggest in China. So lots of experience in that sense, which is why we've been able to integrate a lot of really useful functionality into this product, because we've got some really good experience in that field as well.
Wow. And gee, I think I've run out of things to ask. It's just been... It's amazing. I'll come back to my very first statement. It's almost a matter of saying what it can't do, because almost everything I've thrown at it, it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not pocket size. That's about the only thing.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a really nice looking system. It's look, the batteries weigh 70 kilos, so you need a couple of people to kind of pick them up. But that's why we've made sure the handles are in the box to make sure it's fairly simple experience to put them together. And yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great learning a bit more about Sigenergy.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, thanks.
See you, Glenn.
Okay, ciao.
Cheers, mate.
Off instrumentals, then car out the yo kickers and cars. Cause with something chill. I feel like dancing my ride today. I know how much she like rolling. The smoke from the ties away. No telling where we'll be going, but I'm gonna be on it, it for sure. Think I might need show. I feel like blessing my ride